Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for our executive viewpoint on the 5 steps to maximize your distributor sales model. I'm Robert Pease, the CMO here at Lead Method, and we were really interested to cover this topic today, and it's actually part of a broader initiative that we've started here at Lead Method around our executive viewpoint series. I'm going to get into a little more what that's all about here in a little bit, but essentially what we're trying to do is we're trying to identify and tackle the more strategic questions that our customers are dealing with. So if you sell the majority of your business through distributors or independent reps, in the boardroom or in the executive room, you constantly are asking questions around: Is it working? Is it worth the investment? Is it performing the way that it needs to? And we wanted to really surface those and elevate those conversations and do so in a series like this. So that's the rationale for the executive viewpoint series. And the reason that we're starting with our first one today, which is the 5 steps to maximize your distributor sales model. So why is Lead Method positioned to address this or able to address this? So we are unique in the industry in that we are a software platform that focuses on distributor relationship management and the unique needs, requirements, and challenges that companies that sell through distributors and independent reps have. So all the things related to lack of visibility, lack of feedback, shared pipeline forecasting, all the types of things that come up on a day-to-day basis that are either managed via spreadsheet in most cases and lack the visibility up and down the organization, or you're looking to your CRM system to try to do this for you and it just fundamentally isn't built to handle this type of sales model, much more oriented towards direct selling, which this is much more indirect in its nature. So what we're going to do today during our time, we're going to talk a little more about the Executive Viewpoint series and why we're launching it here at Lead Method. We're going to talk in depth about the 5 steps to maximize your distributor sales model. And then we're going to drive into your questions. So as we go through this, please submit those, and I'll cover off on those at the end. And there'll be lots of ways to get in touch with us for additional clarification or discussion going forward. So thanks everyone for making the time and for your attention today. And so a little more background on the Executive Viewpoint series and why we think this is an important thing for the industry. 3 core things we're trying to do here. One, first and foremost, is drill into insights and best practices for any business that sells through distributors and independent reps. If you do this, you know there are sorts of opportunities and challenges that surface every day around it, and we really wanted to drill into this as a unique and specialized mindset around how to sell this way. And again, what we do to help companies, large and small, sell through distributors and reps kind of puts us in a unique position to elevate the conversation. The second we wanted to do was drive thought leadership and peer exchange on important topics. So this is not only just about us sharing with you what we have found. We definitely want to connect the dots between thought leaders in the industry, so you can learn from each other as much as learn from us and some of the aggregated lessons learned that we've picked up out there. And the third piece is perspective on maximizing revenue and operational efficiency. I mean, again, this is why we're doing this. These are the questions that come up, which is, we're investing time and effort and energy and staff and programs into our distributor network. Are we actually maximizing the return from that? Are we getting everything we need from it? Can we be more efficient about how we do it? And we think those are important topics as well. So a little background on the Executive Viewpoint series and why we're kicking it off. Today's topic is the 5 steps to maximize your distributor sales model. We think it's an important one as a kicking off point here. Again, as you sit with your team, whether you're functionally responsible for sales or marketing, or you're the CFO or you're the CEO or the business owner, and you want to understand if you actually are getting everything out of your distributor-based sales model that you can, we think there's a good framework here to dig into, which we'll do here shortly. And again, lots of questions that come in all the time around this. Please submit those, and we'll definitely get to them as we go forward. So the first step here that I want to dig into is around understanding the cost of the channel and maximizing profitability. So not something that hasn't probably occurred to anybody, but I think the operational or the tactical aspects of this are what are hugely important in a couple of dimensions. One, you yourself operationally monitor the monthly, quarterly trends around volume, returns, profit, margin, and revenue contribution. Again, a very data-driven approach to this will really help you understand both costs that you're incurring to support the channel, as well as the returns that you're getting out of it. So make sure you're tracking those internal investments like headcount, right? Dedicated headcount or partially allocated headcount to help the distributor network. Your marketing spend, like what are you doing? What is your cost per lead? How much are you spending to generate leads and hand those to your distributors? And then how are things like rebates and incentives really penciling out for you? And then as you look at your entire network, other than just looking at it to say, yes, it is or isn't performing better than it was last month, last quarter, or last year, you got to get granular about this and understand how one distributor or one even independent rep is performing versus another. And not so much to take corrective action, but more what's working and why is it working so well, and how can you cross-pollinate that across other distributors and reps so that everyone is achieving this level of high performance. And then I think an important piece of this is also to understand your distributor's business and their profitability targets and their margin requirements. Setting them up for success and putting your products into their world in a way that sets them up for success. Make sure that you're top of mind. Make sure that your products and the engagement around those products is always a priority. So keep that mindset as you get into it, and you really will take advantage of what, again, we're calling step one here, which is to understand the cost of the channel and to maximize profitability. The second piece is deliver in-context training and education. So if you've been in this business for a while, you understand it's super important to train, educate, onboard, retain your partners. You spend a lot of time and effort in doing that. And there's a lot of ways that this training and education can be delivered, from everything from a portal that sits there with content on it to training sessions where everybody gets together and gets a big binder. We view this as a real area for innovation in the industry, and obviously training and education directly impacts revenue and performance. But this passive content approach doesn't cut it, right? The putting the binder in someone's hand, sitting everybody down in a room and going through a slide deck, having everybody log into a webinar, hoping when they go back and they actually get into an opportunity or they're at the different deal stage and they understand or remember what they were supposed to do. So we believe here at Lead Method, and we think that the industry as a whole would benefit from in-context training. So deliver deal stage and product type content in line with selling activities. So rather than just make stuff available, how do we get this into the actual moment where someone is answering a question or following up on a lead or engaging on a lead for the first time? So not only does it provide this sort of at your fingertips approach, but it really drives forward education and learning because it's actually happening as you're doing it. It onboards new distributors faster, so people get up and running much more faster on the products and the specifications and the pricing and the promotions, and it locks in existing ones longer, right? It says, look, we're not only concerned and interested in investing in your education, we're going to do something to make this meaningful to you, so we'll all sell more. And so what I wanted to do was explain this through the Lead Method platform. Again, what we pride ourselves on here is we like to build into our software platform the best practices that we're advocating. And again, this is a snapshot view of a lead, right? You'll see here Samantha Lucas. And so what's highlighted here in red is this is a lead that needs follow-up. And based on the particular product type, the particular stage of the deal, what you're seeing here in red highlighted are the pieces of content that are most relevant to that deal stage and that product type. So what this is essentially doing is putting it all in one place. So the salesperson who's following up knows the tech manual is important, or the product catalog is important, the product flyer is important, and I have all those things right now. I'm not digging around to try to find the most recent one. I'm not using one that's on my laptop that may be 6 months old with outdated information on it. So an important piece of investing in the channel and investing in a distributor sales network is not only knowing education is important, but making it in context, and very much something we believe in here at Lead Method. Step 3 is to incorporate the voice of the distributor into decision making. I like this phrasing of voice of the distributor because it's something that absolutely has to be incorporated and understood as you go through your daily operations. These communications are difficult because of handoffs between processes and systems, right? Basically, company-to-company communication is really complex, sometimes hard enough to communicate inside your four walls. And when you put multiple different people out there, multiple different entities out there, it makes it very difficult. The voice includes key areas of feedback like pricing, promotion, lead quality, sales obstacles. You keep giving me great opportunities that you think are great opportunities, but none of them want to talk to me, or they're not qualified in the right way. Or I've got a misguided promotion that I'm trying to drive out here in the field. And it's surprising to us as we engage with our customers how this voice is not part of the overall understanding about what's going on out there. And what's more interesting about this whole thing, and what we believe is core to this around incorporating the voice of the distributor, is to make it data-driven, because you want to capture, quantify, and compare results over time. Lead quality is a great example of this. You generate tens and hundreds and thousands of leads for your distributor network over time, and you hand them off, and you believe they're being followed up on. Or not. You don't know. Maybe they're not qualified, maybe they're not relevant, maybe they're not the right thing, maybe they're the best ever, but without this constant feedback loop, you're really just sort of flying blind. So what we've built into our platform here at Lead Method, again, I'm going to give you another example. This is a lead named Kyle Bemis, and very straightforward. This gets sent to a distributor via email. It's a secure link. It opens up this window. We'll give you some information about it, and very directly and very succinctly, you tell us if this is a sales opportunity or not an opportunity. And so in one way, that makes it quickly sort of triaged and put on or off the plate of the salesperson, but all this data is being captured on the back end, so we know literally by hour, by day, by week, by month, by quarter, the quality of the leads that are being shared, whether or not they're actionable in their context, and how they're being received by our distributor network. Step 4 here is to standardize systems and processes. Again, hard to do this because different companies always have different ways they do things, and we believe it's very crucial to have a common denominator between the manufacturer and distributors. And we think that common denominator starts with process. Again, we're a technology platform, we're a software platform, but we absolutely advocate understanding what you want to happen first and foremost, and then using technology as a way to enable that overall process. As I mentioned earlier on in the presentation, most companies out there, they have CRM systems, but they fundamentally don't bridge this gap with distributors and reps in a way that's easy to use, cost effective, and designed to support this model of selling. The last thing you want to do is tell your partner that they have to pay for access to your system. And then you have to go through all the challenges of what can they see and what can't they see, and how are we going to build the necessary data walls. Why not just have a system in place that allows everyone to sell the way that they need to, and that's designed specifically for this indirect channel-based selling model, which is very much something that we do here at Lead Method. And this is sort of a snapshot of that, right? This is our logging in. This is the dashboard you get. This is where in the world are my leads coming from, right? You get the world view down in the bottom left here. But then some key metrics of performance and some key data so that everyone in the network is looking at the information that's most relevant to them. The manufacturer sees this all rolled up in one place. The distributors see the information that's only relevant to them. Your independent reps only see the information that's relevant to them. But yet everybody is singing from the same song sheet here, right? You have a common denominator of data and then a common denominator of understanding. The last step here is around aligning incentives and support around desired outcomes. And a subtle point, but a super important one as you think about what you're doing to incent your distributor network, the discounts, the deals, the allowances, the rebates, how you're helping them or not with things like payment terms and financing. So critically important to keep the lines of communication open in both directions. Right? Just because you're not hearing anything back doesn't mean that everything's okay. And you have to get directly engaged, and you have to do so. And again, we here at Lead Method, we see this all the time where we engage with companies and we begin to open up this communication and open up this collaboration. And very quickly we're able to identify places where there may be some misalignment between incentives and desired outcomes, or where certain obstacles maybe are present. So it's a great way to begin to have that dialogue. We're happy to show you how we do that. So there'll be some information here at the end of the presentation about how you can get in touch with us to do that. So just to recap here, the 5 steps to maximize your distributor sales model. Step 1, understand the cost of the channel and maximize profitability. Step 2 is deliver in-context training and education at the point of the deal where you are in a respective deal stage, and being able to put that information in the hands of the rep will absolutely accelerate close rates and overall sort of time to close in the pipeline. Step 3 is to incorporate the voice of distributor in decision making. We've seen companies struggle with how to do this. They do everything from send out email surveys to hire people to do call downs on their distributor network. Like, why not just build this into the overall way you go to market, so you have the data that tells you how things are going, that the distributor can actually weigh in on decisions based on their ability to interact with you through this common denominator, which gets to step 4, which is to standardize as best you can around systems and processes. Different companies will always see the world differently, but everybody should be absolutely aligned around how to go to market in a distributor sales model. And we believe standardizing around your process is the key, and enabling with that with technology is the absolute thing to do. And then step 5 here is to align incentives and support around your desired outcomes. Again, a consciousness and awareness of what you're doing and how you're doing and the types of behavior that you're trying to motivate out there. So take these 5 steps in totality. It's something that we have seen repeatedly as we have worked with our customers, that we think if you put this into place, and if you're in your next executive team meeting and the question comes up is, are we getting everything out of our distributor sales model that we can, ask yourself or walk yourself through these 5 steps. And I guarantee you'll have some great perspectives, some great lessons learned, and we're absolutely here at Lead Method to help you understand more about how this can work or how it can be done better. And sort of along those lines, that's what we do here, right? We are a distributor relationship management platform. This is an exam. This is sort of a summary of what we do, but we talk about lead capture, right? This is about finding those moments of demand and dropping those pieces of demand into the distribution, so they are sent to the right distributors at the right time with the right information and can be acted upon. And you'll see here we actually are mobile enabled. This is the world we work in, and if your folks are in the field and need to be able to engage and act on this information, they can. We've integrated it into email as a core workflow, so no new systems to learn. Very, very important piece of this whole thing. And then, again, all of this is about collecting data and being able to run reports and get insights and see analytics on what's working and how it's working over time. And we believe this is a very sort of whole solution approach to the larger challenge, which is to sell through a distributor network. So just to recap here, 3 legs of the stool is sort of the way to think about this image. So one, first and foremost, is around distributor engagement. Merely signing up a distribution partner and agreeing to terms doesn't make it happen. This is around driving leads into distributors, driving training and education in distributors, getting their feedback, tapping that voice of the distributor, making that part of your decision making, understanding it through visibility and analytics. There's this giant black hole that most customers of ours have before they become Lead Method customers. They just hope. They're creating leads and they're throwing them into the black hole, and they think that revenue comes out. They have no idea about how much it's costing them to do that. They have no idea how much opportunity is being lost. And that's all about driving data into the equation. And partially what we are able to bring to the table is this data discipline. But once you're actually set up and running, your whole operation can change, and that you're no longer working around opinions and attitudes. You're looking at the data. This week versus last week, this month versus last month, this quarter versus last quarter, a year ago, whatever it may be. Gives you a whole new perspective on performance, and understand how different distributors and different reps perform at the very granular level, because ultimately what you're trying to do is drive more revenue, and that's what we here at Lead Method help you do. So just a couple of data points. We see massive increases in distributor feedback and engagement in every customer we get into. Mostly, 500% is a big number. It's because it is so horrible when we begin to engage that there's nowhere to go but up. We've seen massive time savings and productivity gains just by putting all this information into one place and becoming the common denominator. And then most importantly, why are we doing all this? We see an increase in revenue, 20% or so across our customers, where we're actually just able to find more dollars in the existing process, be that through better follow-up on leads, more timely engagement, in-context training, better positioning of the offer, whatever it may be. But these are real absolute metrics that we have seen, and we're able to move the dial when we get engaged with a customer. So I'm going to take some time here, answer your questions. If you've got some, please drop them to us, or if you have more interesting needs and want to get into an in-depth conversation, here's how to reach us. You can certainly check us out on our website. Give us a call. We always like to talk to folks, or drop us an email. One of the questions I did receive was around this in-context training and how that works, and how does it all come together. And we see it in a lot of cases where companies have invested in a website, a web page, something they decided they know they need to put all their information that your distributors need in one place. And in some cases, these become very complex portals, and they become sort of publishing mechanisms where you push stuff and then you hope that someone can come and find it. And it becomes a search and discovery challenge, let alone if someone actually remembers the location of it. You get into versioning issues. You get into relevancy. Is this a particular type of customer that wants a particular type of product? So again, our approach here is to leverage all of that great thinking and all of the work that's been done, and then just push it into the actual sales process. It's not a hard bridge to get into and say, okay, we've got a certain type of product. Let's put the assets and the data sheets that respond to that product, and we know we're going to get a certain set of objections, and let's put that into context at that particular deal stage. So we are here to help you do that. We believe that this in-context learning is a game changer and will absolutely drive significant revenue out of your sales channel, just by making the proactive stage of putting that into the hands of the salesperson. So that takes our time today. Again, thank you everyone for joining us, and thank you for joining us for the kickoff of the Executive Viewpoint series. Look for more from us, more engaging, more interesting topics, things that are relevant to you and your industry. If you have a suggestion about how you'd like to hear about how the industry is dealing with something, again, you got our contact information here. Please drop it to us, and we will look forward to speaking with you all again soon. Thank you very much.